Hello, dear readers. Welcome to Novel Spotlight. This is an audiobook of the novel The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Part 16. Someone said I had boy's shoulder. It was a stupid thing, but there were lots of stupid things, and you feel them all at that age. As a teenager, I've happily been invisible. People called me the fish. They didn't mean it as a compliment. I was shy. It was one of the reasons why I preferred the library to the playing field. It seems a small thing, but it really helped having that space. Never underestimate the big importance of small thing, Mrs. Elm said. You must always remember that. Nora thought back. Her teenager combination of shyness and visibility had been a problematic mix. But she was never bullied as such, probably because everyone knew her brother. And Joe, while never exactly tough, was always considered cool and popular enough for his most immediate blood relation to be immune to the schoolyard tannery. She won races in local and then national championship. But as she reached 15, it became too much. The daily swims, length after length after length. I had to quit. Mrs. Elm nodded. And the bond you have developed with your father frayed and almost snapped completely. Pretty much. She pictured her father's face in the car on a drizzle-scratched Sunday morning outside Bradford Leisure Club as she told him she didn't want to swim in competition anymore. That look of disappointment and profound frustration. But you could make a success of your life, he had said. Yes, she remembered it now. You are never going to be a pop star, but this is something real. It's right in front of you. If you keep training, you will end up at the Olympics. I know. She had been cross with him saying that, as if there was a very thin path to a happy life and it was the path he had decided for her. As if her own agency in her own life was automatically wrong. But what she didn't fully appreciate at 15 years of age was just how bad regrets could feel, and how much her father had felt that pain of being so near to the realization of a dream he could almost touch it. Nora's father, it was true, had been a difficult man, as well as being highly critical of everything Nora did and everything wanted and everything Nora believed. Unless it was related to swimming, Nora had also felt that simply to be in his presence was to commit some kind of invisible crime. Even since the ligament injury that thwarted his rugby career, he had a sincere conviction that the universe was against him. And Nora was, at least she felt, considered by him as a part that same universal plan. From that moment in that car park, she had felt she was really just an extension of the pear in his left knee, a walking wound. But maybe he had known what would happen. Maybe he could foresee the way one regret would lead to another until suddenly that was all she was. A whole book of regrets. Okay, Mrs. Elm, I want to know what happened in the life where I did what my father wanted, where I trained as hard as possibly could, where I never moaned about a 5 a.m. start or a 9 a.m. finish, where I swam every day and never thought about quitting, where I never get sidelined by music or writing unfinished novels, where I sacrificed everything else on the altar of freestyle, where I didn't give up, where I did everything right in order to reach the Olympic. Take me to where I am in that life. For a moment, it seemed as though Mrs. Elm hadn't been taking any notice of Nora's mini speech, as she kept throwing at the chessboard, working out how to outmaneuver herself. The rook is my favorite piece, she said. It's the one that you think you don't have to watch out for. It is straightforward. You keep an eye on the queen and the knights and the bishop because they are the sneaky ones. But it's the rook that often gets you. The straightforward is never quite what it seems. Nora realized Mrs. Elm was probably not just talking about chest, but the shelves were moving now, fast as trains. This life you have asked for, explained Mrs. Elm, is a little bit further away from the pub dream and the Australian adventure. Those were closer life. This one involves a lot of different choices, going back further in time. And so the book is a little further away. You see? I see. Libraries have to have a system. The book slowed. Ah, there we are. This time, Mrs. Elm didn't stand up. She simply raised her left hand and the book flew towards her. How did you do that? I have no idea. Now, here's the life you asked for. Off you go. Nora took hold of the book, light, fresh, lime colored. She turned to the first page, and this time she was aware of feeling absolutely nothing at all. The last update that Nora had posted before she found herself between life and death. I miss my cat. I'm tired. For the next part, stay tuned to Novel Spotlight. And please like, share, and subscribe.